Oh, Duran brings us back into the game. It's the final hour of the week. The game after work, Mitch Fortner and Troy Coverdale will be joined by K-State color analyst Stan Weber here in just a moment. Mitch in Vegas makes its return in this hour, plus a announcement about future shows. Will be coming up here in just a few moments as well in this hour, so don't go anywhere. Speaking with Stan Weber here in just a moment. I've received word today for Wamego High School football is Mom's Huddle. They call it Mom's Huddle. And it's the tradition where the moms get to tackle the sons. They'll put on the helmet, they'll put on the shoulder pads, and get to tackle their sons. Well, my girlfriend Lindsay, her son is a senior for Coach Weston Moody. He's a wide receiver, and so Lindsay will be tackling her son later. So I'm looking forward to get a report on that. My advice was just give him the old this Jimmy Superfly Snuka crossbody. You know, don't go for the form tackle, just go for the big splash.
And make sure it's on video.
Oh, yeah, that's got to be.
It has to be.
You got to get that on tape. K-State football is 8 days away. The Cats open up against the Skyhawks of UT Martin on August 31st at Bill Snyder Family Stadium. And we are pleased to be joined by longtime Cuddle analyst for the K-State Sports Network, as Stan Weber now joins us here on the game. Stan, and I greatly appreciate your time. Overheard Wyatt talking about you the other day. So let me fact check this number. Is it your 38th season this year with K-State?
Yes, 38th year K-State football. I'm getting ready to announce my 456th straight K-State football game. So I've not missed one yet. Hope not to miss for a long time. And, yeah, I cannot wait. It's heading back home for me, even though I live in the Kansas City area on the Kansas side, by the way. It is great to be in Manhattan. I'm there probably about 55 times a year. So it's definitely my second home. Can't wait to get back there. I've been there many times in August already, but not for a football weekend. That's coming up. Can't wait.
Boy, you and Robert Lipson have those long streaks. Do you remember your first K-State football game that you broadcasted and how it went?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. K-State in 1987 under Stan Parrish as the head coach. My last season was 1984 when I was a quarterback. So 1987, I get ready to broadcast with Mitch Holtis. So Mitch and I broadcast for 9 years together. He was at K-State. He actually was the play-by-play voice my senior year. It was his first year in 1984. So in 1987, we gear up. K-State goes out and gets upset on a last-second throw to Austin Peay. On our way to no wins in 1987 and no wins in 1988. There was one tie in my first two seasons, and yet, overall, my record all time announcing those 455 K-State games is 60%, including no wins the first 2 years. 21-1, but Bill Snyder, Chris Kleiman, Ron Prince have taken care of that. K-State won 40% of their games in the history before I started broadcasting, and 60 cents. So I've been very, very lucky to be a part of the resurgence and greatness and consistency of K-State football. Loved every minute of it.
Gosh, so
I'm getting ready to do my 23rd year with Wyatt, by the way.
Yeah, what a run for Wyatt as well. So what do you remember about that North Texas State win in '89? What was the press box like? Was everybody hugging and high-fiving?
Yeah, absolutely. It meant so much, and I could tell. Sometimes you got a football sense, and I watched K-State the night before they played Arizona State in 1989 under Bill Snyder. So we're practicing on the road at Arizona State. This is a tough game, and K-State actually has a practice on the grass down there in Sun Devil Stadium the night before the game, and I'm standing there with the famous Ed O'Donnell, who was the producer forever, passed away not too long ago. Rest in peace, Ed O'Donnell. What a great guy. Mitch Holtis was there, and we're watching practice, and I turned to those two guys, and this is after my record is 21-1 as a broadcast partner to Mitch, okay? And I turned to them, and I don't even know what I just said, except for I said, we're going to win. I said, we're going to win. And they looked at me like I had seven eyes. Like, what? We haven't won a game in 2 years. We got a new coach. We're at Arizona State. What do you mean? And I go, I can just tell the way those guys are practicing, the way they're coaching, we are going to win. So when it happened against North Texas, who was a very good team at that time in Division I AA, it was a big deal to get the confirmation that, Bill Snyder's teams were improving so much. The greatest improvement ever might have been from 88 to 89, and we won only one game that year. But we were respectful. We were fighting. We were doing the right things. I could tell we were going to win, but it was awesome to finally get that confirmation. And my first win as a broadcaster and Bill Snyder's first win was that game against North Texas State, as they were called then. The Mean Green, Carl Straw throws a touchdown pass, and the Wildcats win. Mitch goes crazy. The fans run onto the field, and during Mitch's call, I say in a very young voice, and the fans are running from the stands. And, no, it was awesome. Brings back unbelievably great memories.
During training camp, we interview Mitch once a week. I'm going to have to ask him about those early days with you and what that was like and going full throat that one time in 1989 in the win against North Texas State. Meanwhile, gosh, fast forward to 2024, and what a great year this feels like it's going to be. I want to start with the coaching part of this. Chris Kleiman enters his sixth season. He hasn't had to deal with a whole lot of coaching changes, but this time around, it's Colin Klein now off to Texas A&M. Connor Riley takes over offensive coordinator, and now Matt Wells is the quarterback coach. How do you feel about those moves by Chris Kleiman?
I think they're great moves. You said sixth year at K-State. Connor Riley's been here all 6 of those years. He's one of the best offensive line coaches in the country. He was at North Dakota State even with Chris Kleiman. To have a head coach like Chris Kleiman to be in sync with his offensive coordinator like this is very, very important. And also, you think about Chris Kleiman, even though he's a defensive guy, think about the quarterback relationships that he's had, his ability to identify them and nurture them along. Tons of guys in the National Football League. Will Howard is getting ready to quarterback Ohio State, and some people think they're going to win a national championship. Avery Johnson's coming on, and K-State is ready for him to turn into a superstar. So I think it's very, very important to have that continuity, and that is very strong. Connor Riley is a really smart guy. I love the fact that they were able to allow him to be the offensive line coach, because if he would have just been the offensive coordinator or moved to be the quarterback coach, we would have lost that great offensive line coach and the connectivity and teaching that he's had with those players. I think you need to keep his strength and keep him coaching the offensive line. Check mark. He was able to do that. And then you go to the next step and say, well, that leaves the gap of who's going to talk to the quarterback. Talking with the quarterbacks is different. It is completely different than coaching other positions. You've got to be there. You've got to understand. Chris Kleiman is great at it, but you need someone in the quarterback room every day nurturing those guys. It's a type A personality group where it's hard to root for everybody in the team when either you get a play or I get a play. Wide receiver, running back, everywhere else, we all can play, but not at quarterback. So it's very hard to work with those guys, and you've got to know how to do it. And a lot of times you've got to have quarterback experience to do that. Colin Klein did it great for K-State. It was awesome to have him, a Wildcat, a quarterback, a guy like him, as brilliant as he is, coaching K-State's offense when he did. But the fact is, Matt Wells has been a head coach before. He has been a quarterback coach, an offensive coordinator. He fits the bill perfectly to go in and bring his knowledge into that room. That is awesome. Now you got to check mark again. You got a quarterback guy in there. Now what's the issue? Matt Wells is new. He's an ex-head coach. He comes from the outside, being at Texas Tech, then Oklahoma, Utah State before. How's he going to buy into the K-State way? How's he going to work with Connor Riley, who's the offensive line coach and play caller? Well, guess what? Matt Wells is a very special person, and we are so lucky to have him because all he did is step right in, loves Chris Kleiman, wants to help K-State win, and wants to do whatever he can to help, and that includes working closely with Connor Riley. Those two guys mesh together immediately because of the type of human beings they are, the type of smarts they have, and it has been pretty seamless. So it was tough. When Colin Klein left, you lost your quarterback guru talk and coaching ability, and you lost your play caller all at the same time. We were able to substitute, make a good change, and kind of keep things rolling without losing Connor Riley as the offensive line coach. I could not be more happy with how this turned out.
Now a quarterback, here comes the Kansas phenom out of Mays, Kansas, and Avery Johnson, who's going to take over as the starting quarterback. He has said a number of times to us media that he's just never been one to get nervous, like the pressure doesn't really add up for him. But, I mean, I want to hear from you, like a guy in his shoes at his age, being a home state kid playing for his favorite team, when you're 8 days out, when does that pressure now add up and you start to feel the nerves and before that first snap as the starting quarterback?
Well, I think the nerves start in when you go back to school and you get your normal routine. When you're walking around on campus, and when you walk around on campus and you think about how important football is in America today, how important it is to college football fans and students, to think that there's one quarterback, there's one starting quarterback walking around on campus, and you start not only have people look at you with respect and make you feel good like you got this, you also realize, oh, wait a second, that's me. I'm touching the ball on every play, and I'm the guy who's responsible for everyone being happy on this campus. And so you start respecting the fact that it isn't easy, and you got to grow and learn. It probably helps that you're not starting off with a feature game like next season, Iowa State in Ireland. That would be even more nervousness. Right now, you say, hey, all I got to do is believe in myself, believe in my teammates, don't get too nervous, just settle down and ease your way in. And once the game starts, you'll feel good. And you realize as long as I just do my thing and believe in my teammates, distribute the ball, we're better than UT Martin. So I think that makes a big difference. It's different than Chiefs Thursday night starting against the Baltimore Ravens, okay? That would create a whole different level of tension. So he probably feels it, but he turns it, I bet, into adrenaline and energy. Like, this is a dream come true. I'm a kid in Kansas, man, and I get to be the starting quarterback for the Wildcats. How cool is that?
As fans, I think we're expecting just absolute elite offensive play right out of the gate, but are you just expecting some early growing pains?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I think you got to realize every season's a new season and there's no preseason games. So this is not a downgrade at all to what I think of the K-State offense. I just think you always need to take a deep breath going into the season and let the guys grow. Now, you remember, he's only started one game, and he hasn't lost a game. He hasn't thrown an interception. You got to learn to work through those adversity times and continue to move forward. And a lot of times the fans can have an influence. With social media the way it is and how things are going right now, the fans need to relax and temper their enthusiasm as well. I mean, be super excited about the football team, be super excited about Avery Johnson and what can be done, but don't think it's easy. Just let it unfold. Look at Michael Bishop. Michael Bishop in 1997 lit it up. By about the midway point to the two-thirds point of the season, he was an unstoppable force. And he rolled it right on into 1998 and was a Heisman Trophy candidate on the best team in the country for much of the year. Michael Bishop was unbelievable. And he was a junior college transfer, okay? But was he great on the first couple of games? Was he flawless in those situations? No. So, again, don't advance him to, fifth gear in your car. Let him start in first gear, work the second gear, and remember it's a team game. It's not just Avery is going to play great and we're going to be fine. You got some offensive linemen that are going to get their first starts. You got to transfer at left tackle. They got to get used to the noise, the game situation. Working together as an offensive line is very important. It's not just your physicality and how you block. It's are you working mentally and verbally with everybody, with the crowd noise and everything else. It could take a while for the offense to get going. There's nothing wrong with that. Oh, they may light up UT Martin and score 100 points, but there is still going to be a work from week 1 to week 2 to week 3 before they fully hit their stride and really understand everything they need to do. There's a lot of turnover on the offense. So I just think everyone needs to say, I am confident, I'm excited about the future, but let's let those guys have a little room to learn and figure this out. And I think they can lean on the defense, which is great news because I think the defense is going to be ready to roll earlier, right away at the beginning of the year with Austin Moore being back, Keenan Garber. You got sixth-year guys, Parrish, a lockdown cornerback. And K-State's defense should have a lot of returners. You got Joe Klannerman, defensive coordinator, maybe the most underrated coach in all of college football. You don't hear his name talked about, but he's been a defensive coordinator going in his fifth year now. He's been here the whole time. He has done a great job converting to this 3-3-5, now mixing in even fronts and odd fronts. advancing this defense tremendously. His blitz packages are really cool and keep the opponents off balance. His communication to his players, his ability to bring in new safeties and coach them every year. Joe Klanderman's done an outstanding job. So I actually think if you made me pick, I would say I would expect the defense to be a little bit ahead of the offense as we go into UT Martin and maybe even on the road to Tulane.
K-State color analyst Dan Weber is our guest. I could be more excited to watch what K-State can do in the running game this year when you throw in Dylan Edwards in the equation. DJ Giddens, who might be the most underrated player in college football, is back, and he is such a veteran. And, of course, the athleticism of Avery Johnson. And when I think about these guys and what they can do, I flash back to L and Darren in 2002, 2003. Now, Avery's not going to run it 202 times, but it can be as electric. When you think about this running game, is it predictable to put a ceiling on this group?
No, I don't think you can put a ceiling on it, but I am as excited as you are about the running game, but I'm still excited about the balance of the offense. I look at it this way. You talked about DJ Giddens, and I couldn't agree with you more. Maybe the most underrated player in the country, as he is a star. And he's not only a star running the football, he's a star catching the football and running routes. I am excited about the running game, and I cannot wait to see that offensive line come off the ball. I like our tight ends. They are bigger and stronger than they've ever been, young and excited. I think we can really move some people off the ball. But think about this for a second. Using the same people you spoke about, okay, Dylan Edwards, DJ Giddens, Avery Johnson, how about when they get into a passing formation and they got those two guys in the backfield ready to go out for a pass immediately when the ball snaps, along with the wide receivers? Look at the pressure you're putting on the defense, because if those guys get the ball on the run, they may turn and score. And it may be a catching the ball at the line of scrimmage. It may be a swing pass, but they can also fly up the middle part of the field, right down the hash mark, and beat a linebacker. And then here's the icing on the cake, because when we get back to your running game, here's when Avery Johnson's going to be nasty. Not with quarterback run like L. Roberson did under Bill Snyder back in the old 2002-2003 time period. No, when he puts everybody out on the pass route, and if they play man-to-man and cover, guess what? He takes off and runs as the fastest quarterback in the country. That's when the running game will crank the yards up. What are you going to do? How are you going to guard these two running backs who are great coming out of the backfield, and then the receiving core, really good tight ends? And then the biggest threat is if Avery scrambles when you're playing man-to-man defense. So I love the passing game as well as the running game, to even get to the running game or get the ball in those running backs' hands quickly and watch them go in open field.
All right, Stan, I'll ask you one more question. We'll let you go. You've already touched on the defense, so I want to jump now to special teams. And I don't know how well you know the X's and O's of special teams. I'm not too educated on it, but it feels like the last couple of years there's just been something missing in the special team, like kick returns or punt returns. And, I mean, last year K-State did not have a kick or punt return for a touchdown last year. So are you expecting this special teams group, if you throw in a Dylan Edwards or even like a Sterling Lockett, to get back to the old ways and take that step forward once again?
Well, I do. Chris Kleiman cares about special teams, and they hired a special teams coach who has a lot of experience and also has been in the NFL a long time. So you got an NFL guy coming, and now you're allowed for your analysts to coach on the field. And so that's a big advantage right there. Because K-State does not have a special teams coach designated. They have a lot of different coaches work on different things, and then they have an analyst help out and kind of coordinate some things, help with some strategy, viewpoints, and those kind of things. Well, that now can change. So the rule change will really help K-State, because now everybody can go out there and coach. So if you're an analyst, you can go out on the field. And so to get K-State special teams coordinator out there, an NFL veteran, a proven guy, and then the emphasis that Chris Kleiman has, and I mentioned guys like Klanderman and Connor Riley who have been here forever, they help coach these special teams, and there's going to be an emphasis. So is it easy to be dominant? No. It's hard to expect, you're going to have these special returns for touchdowns all the time. Most schools don't have it. K-State's had it a lot. They did not have it last year. So I think you'll see improvement. There's definitely a focus, but I think the rule changes will really help K-State get a hands-on approach and make the differences, and a new view of it from an NFL guy will really help as well. So I think that'll kick special teams up on another level over what we saw last year.
I couldn't agree more, and Stan, we'll let you go on that. Really appreciate your time, and congratulations on a 38th season and that long streak of never missing a football game. That is incredibly impressive. Thanks for your time, and we'll be talking to you soon. Thank you.
Well, thanks for having me. Go Cats. I cannot wait to see the K-State fans rock the city all day on Saturday in Bill Snyder Family Stadium on Saturday night. And for all of those that do listen to us all these years with either Greg Sharp, Mitch Holtis, or Wyatt Thompson, thanks for listening to us. We love to do it. We're honored to bring K-State football and basketball to you.
There it is. What a finish by the legend himself, Stan Weber, here on the game. Once again, thanking Stan for his time. Always good stuff. Speaking with Stan here on the game, getting us ready for K-State football to kick off in 8 days. Let's take a timeout, and when we come back, it is a college football tradition and a new, you call it a game, a standings, a competition, predictions. College football week 0. Mitch in Vegas is after these words. Oh, what the heck? I think I jumped on the wrong plane. I was supposed to be in Vegas.
Oh, for crying out loud.
I feel like Kevin McAllister now. Mom?
Out of practice. I mean, honestly.
Somebody's playing tricks. Oh, now we're at home, boys and girls.
It's Friday after 5. My brain wants to shut down.
We're actually going to have 2 Fridays with Mitch in Vegas. Of course, when high school football season takes off, we're not going to be able to do Friday shows, but I think college football is finally here now. We got Mitch in Vegas. AJ's not here, but he did give us his picks. Week 0 kicks off tomorrow morning. College Game Day is in Dublin, Ireland. The WWE Sheamus will be the guest picker. I think people will enjoy him. He's actually a great personality. I just don't know if he knows much about college football.
Well, they decided they needed him because Conor McGregor couldn't come on the show. They would be worried about what he would say.
Well, they needed an athlete from Ireland, and it's
Conor McGregor.
Might be Slim Pickens.
Yeah, I was going to say Conor McGregor would just put out too many 4 bombs.
Let's see. Conor McGregor, Sheamus, Becky Lynch. I mean, 2 of them are pro wrestlers. Who else
right?
Who are the other athletes from Ireland?
Boy. Yeah.
You got to do a quick Google search. I don't even know who half of these people are. Oh, Roy McIlroy.
Oh, yeah, they could have done that.
Yeah, that
I didn't even
could be
think.
an option.
Is he out at Castle Pines this week? Though? They're
he may be a little busy.
Yeah, they're in the Denver area this weekend. They're at Castle Pines.
Okay.
Which is a tremendous course. And he is.
All right, here we go. So if you don't know how Mitch in Vegas works,
Troy wins.
Did you win last year?
I did. I smoked both of you.
See, I think who won 2 years ago?
In fact, it was me, and then it was the fans, and you and Deej.
That's what happened.
If I remember correctly.
There's a couple of reasons why I don't bet on sports.
Yeah, well, I understand that, too.
It's easy to lose.
You don't say.
And, K-State doesn't want you doing those kind of things, so.
You don't say.
I'll stay away, and, I still expect some juicy parlays from old Troy over here that I almost called you Hank. I've been watching a lot of Larry Sanders Show.
Oh, boy.
And Hank Kingsley was a, hey now.
Hey now.
And you kind of look like him.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Other than the fact I've got glasses and Hank did not, yes.
No. Well, he might now, but...
well, true.
Anyway, so it's typically 6 games that we pick, but it's week 0, and there's only 4 games Saturday. May do another, because there's going to be a bunch of Thursday, Friday games this upcoming Thursday, Friday, so we may do an early Mitch in Vegas.
All right.
So we're picking just 4 games today. We kick it off with the Aer Lingus College Football Classic, which, by the way, K-State's, College Football Classic in Dublin is exactly 365 days from today.
Well.
All right, so here's your first game. It is going to be Florida State Georgia Tech. It's an ACC battle. 11 a.m. on ESPN. And ESPN Bet has the Florida State Seminoles as a 10.5-point favorite. AJ will go with Florida State. Get you the people here in just a second.
To me, that is a gimme as Georgia Tech continues to find itself in the ACC as it pertains to football.
DJ Uiagalelei will be the starting quarterback for Florida State. Georgia Tech was the definition of an up-and-down team a year ago. I believe they won 7 games. They beat North Carolina. They beat Miami. And those were 2 top 25 upsets. I don't think Georgia Tech was at all ranked in the top 25 last year. But, man, there were weeks they were really good. Like, better than a 7-win team. And then there were weeks they were like, how is this team going to win 7 games? They could be real back and forth in a matter of 6 or 7 days. They were just so up and down. They're supposed to be better. They have a lot of returning players. I've heard their defensive backs are really good. But I'm not going to pretend I know a whole lot.
They're going to have to be to play against Florida State.
About Georgia Tech. I mean, I know Haynes King is their quarterback, and I thought he was pretty decent last year. But the thing is, Florida State's defense is supposed to be really good. I see this game, though, being a Florida State will cover in the fourth quarter. Georgia Tech will make it interesting, but Florida State will cover in the second half, so I'm going to take Florida State to cover the 10.5. All right, get ready for some real barn burners here, because right after that, boy, do we run into a triple header of the Mountain West. It's not Mountain West matchups, but it features teams out of the Mountain West. I love that ESPN Bets is putting lines on these. We got a tight one here. How about Montana State playing at New Mexico? And Montana State is a 13.5-point favorite.
What an utter disaster are the Lobos. As a program going into a new year under a new coach, just have not been able to regain the glory that they held for a brief bit under Rocky Long. And because of that, they seem to be primed for the kiddies of Montana State to go in and be able to pull off the first of the FCS upsets of the season. I'm riding Montana State on that one. Absolutely.
Wasn't this your conference?
It is.
Yeah, you know the Big Sky.
Absolutely. Montana State's one of your top 3 teams in that conference and had played for the national title just a couple of years back.
And if you know anything about Montana State, and I know this is of recent history, you know this more than I would, but Montana State is typically a really good running the football team.
They are, but they have also turned out some very good quarterbacks. But right now, yes, their primary approach is that they want to run the ball.
Good for Alec Marinko, who is New Mexico's best player for, 3 years?
Yes.
Get out of there. Now he's in the right place. He's going to play some football for K-State this season. I like the chaos. Let's go Montana State minus 13.5 on the road in New Mexico. If they win, it's not a stunner. If they cover, how more interesting that makes it, and then we're probably not going to pay attention to New Mexico football the rest of the year. So let's take the Bobcats to cover 13.5. All right, by the way, did I mention the people? That's actually a very close vote. The people say New Mexico, but it's only a 52-48. So, and by the way, these polls are open until kickoff of that game. All right, game 3. Interesting matchup here, though ESPN Bet says this is SMU big time, but how about the SMU first game as a member of the ACC is visiting the Nevada Wolfpack in Reno, and ESPN Bets has SMU as a 26-point favorite. And the people on our Twitter polls, at Mitch the Ford on Twitter, have SMU, but it's another close vote, and AJ is going with Nevada. AJ also had New Mexico.
Ooh,
plus 13.5.
Bold pick there. SMU is supposed to be improved over a year ago. Oh, by the way, their ticket prices for their home opener on the market for $1.
Hey now.
On the secondary, yeah, that's not a good sign. But they're matching up with a Nevada team that is coming off of a horrendous campaign a season ago as well. I don't like the line in that game. That's my number one issue with this. I find it to be a bit on the high side for what probably is going to be a lackluster game all the way around for both of these teams. But I'm still going to go with SMU in that one.
I'm glad you did, because I'm gonna go Nevada. I want to go with the big dog here. 26 is a lot of points on the road. You're playing this game in altitude. I mean, heck, Reno's almost a mile into the sky.
True.
Yeah, road game. It's just kind of a weird road game to open up the year. I know Nevada has just been crap lately, but give me the Wolfpack. It's a hunch thing, really, and it's also the road factor of playing it out to 26 points. That's a ton for a season opener against a group of 5, even though SMU, hey, best of luck, first year in the ACC, caused some damage. All right, final game we're going to predict, and this is just an interesting storyline because Delaware State is out of Dover. They are playing at Hawaii. They took commercial flights out to Hawaii, so the team didn't all travel together. They're now officially there in Honolulu. When this game kicks off, it'll be at midnight in Dover, Delaware.
11 o'clock our time.
It is Delaware State at Hawaii. You'll have to stream this game, ESPN or Fox. Nobody is running it. Hawaii is a 40.5-point favorite.
By the way, that is pay-per-view if you want to watch it.
Oh, well, that won't happen.
Yeah, that's their package, how they've got that set up. Yeah, forget about it. Here's my question. Does this one get worse than what I had to witness when Cole Brennan tore apart my Bears 63-3 in one of the first games that I called in that seat?
Should have been a running clock in the fourth quarter.
Oh, good Lord, it would have helped. Yeah, unfortunately, I feel for Delaware State because I've been in that position. That is ugly. That is just ugly. 10.5-hour flight just to get to Hawaii for them.
10.5. It had to be more than that out of
10.5 hours.
You can get from Delaware to where? Do you know where they flew out of? Was it Dover?
I don't know that it was Dover. I'm going to not hazard a guess there.
Heck, isn't a flight from San Francisco to Hawaii like 6 or 7 hours?
No.
Okay.
I've
never been.
It's 3.
Oh, 3? Mm-hmm. Oh, wow. Okay. Well, what the hell do I know?
Yeah, it's 3.
All right. I'll take your word for it.
So, basically split apart. When we flew out of DIA, it was roughly 6.5 because we went LA.
That's okay. Okay.
But still, that is plenty of time to get stir crazy. So, yes, 10.5-hour flight. They've got no hope. That's an awful game.
Can we get $1 on Hawaii to cover?
Oh, that'll happen. That'll happen.
Let's see. The people are going with Hawaii. AJ is going Hawaii. Why not? The biggest line, I think, if I were to bet, would be for sure the biggest line to ever bet on. 40.5 points is insane. So Why not? Let's go Hawaii to cover 40.5 points. Let's see if we can all... You know what? Forget that. Let's get weird. I'm going to be the different one.
Oh, boy.
Since I got the privilege of going last on this one, how about Delaware State traveling all the way out there, through all the adversity, through jet lag, is going to lose by 40. And that's Mitch in Vegas for week 0. When we come back, I do got a future announcement about future shows as we enter. We're exiting the summer shows. We're now entering college football season with the return of Wildcat Insider. Some changes are having to be made. So I'll give you some details when we come back, along with still to come, Ask Us Anything. More of the game is next. All right, we are in the home stretch. Heading into the weekend. Troy, got any weekend plans?
Unfortunately, my Sunday is going to be dominated by the fact that I have to prepare for Monday. In ways that I do not look forward to.
I hear that. Yeah, he's gonna have a procedure done.
Standard procedure.
Yeah.
Just one of those, yes, I'm getting older procedures.
Yeah, take a guess. I think you may get it right. I got a fun weekend. I am going to a concert with my dad in Lincoln, Nebraska. It is Rob Zombie, Alice Cooper. My dad is a big, like a big Pink Floyd guy. Leonard Skinner, George Thorogood,
Right.
Big ZZ Top fan, big Boston fan. But a guilty pleasure of his is Rob Zombie. He's always kind of mentioned, I think it'd be cool to see Rob Zombie in concert. Well, I've seen them both. They're both a great show. I really love Alice Cooper live. He's really good. So you get the 2 and 1. So we're going to be heading up there on Saturday. Then on Sunday, of course, is AEW's All In from Wembley Stadium. Next year they'll be at Globe Life Field in Arlington, Texas. But for the second year in a row, they're at Wembley Stadium, and they are nearing a sellout at Wembley Stadium for this pay-per-view that kicks off officially at noon on Sunday. So go buy your pay-per-view, YouTube, Bleacher Report, wherever. I don't have mine ordered yet, but I will get that thing ordered. Want to make a quick announcement about shows here for the future. Monday will be the return. It'll be a short Wildcat Insider because we have Royals baseball. We actually have a doubleheader tomorrow. I do believe we'll be able to squeeze in a little bit of Wildcat Insider. But things are changing, and I'm not pointing fingers or anything, but K-State's made changes to their for K-State football. They've made changes to the schedule for football press conferences. So Kleiman players, they've been moved to Mondays, and because of that, and because of Wyatt's schedule and what he has to do on those kind of days, he's not able to join us for a full 2 hours. So we've made a few adjustments. It's still going to be Wildcat Insider. It's still going to be the same format of a show. What's very cool around here is that the Mercury is actually moving into our building, so we're going to have more people doing some writing for the website. And Tim Everson, who is the sports editor for the Mercury, is when you get him going, when you get him on a mic, he's a great personality. He's a great trivia host. We're going to bring him on air. He's going to help us out this year for Wildcat Insider starting this Monday. He's going to be in studio with us, and Wyatt is going to be still coming on, but it's going to be for a shorter period of time. It just can't be the 2 hours anymore. So a little bit of an adjustment, but you're pretty much still getting the same show, just another voice with Wildcat Insider. That starts on Monday, of course, with Game Week next week. So,
man,
very excited. It's a little bit of a change, but I'm still very excited. And again, still the same format. You're still getting the same coverage of K-State football. And then when basketball rolls around, the same deal. All right, what do you say, Troy? Little Ask Us Anything?
Whoops.
Oh, you're
wrong button.
Holy cow. Thought I was on a different show.
No, it's the literally same button, different page.
Oh, I've been there. I have been there. Yep.
All right, as we get ready for the new college football season, what would be the small college stadium or football game, a matchup, that you would actually like to see, that you've never taken in? I know, for example, our friend over at Wamego in Weston Moody went out and saw a Montana game last year. I gave him a lot of heat for that but he was watching one of the former Wamego players. We've talked about that. But, I teased because, being in the Big Sky Conference, we all kind of poke each other. You know how that is.
I would love to see North Dakota State, South Dakota State.
Good call.
I would love to see that.
Much better game in the old stadium for South Dakota State. I mean, the new stadium's great. It just from just that old tundra type feel, you would have liked the old place.
It's a goal of mine to see a game at every FBS stadium. I'd love to see a game at Appalachian State.
Good call. Beautiful setting.
Yeah, I think that'd be quite awesome. I think they're the ones when it comes to the outside of the group of four. I think Appalachian State is certainly a place I want to go see a football game. I mean, there's a lot of I want to see every stadium, right?
Sure.
I don't know if I have a particular matchup that I would love to see. Yeah, it's a tough one, but Appalachian State, I think, is the first one that comes to mind outside of the powers.
I'll be perfectly honest, because I never did get the opportunity to see this game, but it has to happen in a snowstorm. It has to be in Laramie. I would love to see a Colorado State-Wyoming game in Laramie with snow falling at War Memorial Stadium, to borrow the George Carlin joke.
I mean, if I had a chance, one I'd just die to see is Hawaii against Delaware State. Especially if it's a home game for Hawaii.
On their soccer field.
Sweating out a 40-point line and come on, Delaware State. I don't even know their mascot. Go Delaware State.
I am trying to remember.
Boy, that's your next Ask Us Anything question. What is the Delaware State mascot? Does anybody know?
I'm wanting to say it's a game hen of some sort.
Oh, they're the Hornets.
Oh, they're the Hornets. Okay, it's Delaware that. All right. Anyway. Yeah, I whiffed on that one. Oh, well.
Well, Delaware State, they're the Blue Hens, right? Or not regular Delaware, just Delaware.
Delaware's Blue Hens. There we go.
Okay.
All right.
Well, that's all for us. We got to get out of here.
Out of here, out of beer.
I
wish.
I'm never
right?
out of beer.
Okay.
For Troy, I'm Mitch. Back with you on Monday. Go Cats.